So it's very alarming how much control the CCP has within America. I knew about this even before the lockdowns. I knew that the government of China had set up, for example, Mandarin courses in universities across the nation, which sounds good because it's quote-unquote free, but you pay for everything. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And in exchange for setting up those Mandarin learning programs, the universities were blocked from bringing on dissidents that they didn't approve of, for example, the Dalai Lama or other people that the Chinese government disapproved of. So there is no such thing as a free lunch. And whenever the Chinese government is giving you something, you have to look twice. Very scary stuff. Chinese government is not our friend.
But the Chinese people is our...
For sure. You know, I've got two sons, and they always tell me how smart the Chinese people are. And I'm like, I know.
Absolutely. Well, we are the new federal state of China, and we represent a future without the CCP. Ma'am, you know, you've seen us, you might have seen us at NFEST, now you've seen us at CPAC, you saw our booth. What's your impression of the people of new federal state of China?
Oh my God, it gives me like goosebumps to think of China without the CCP. I mean, the Chinese people have such a long history. I'm Jewish, right? So we have a long and proud history, and the Chinese people have such a long and proud history. And if there was no CCP, I think bearing down on the Chinese people, the creativity and the brilliance that could be unleashed is endless. So I look forward to your success.
Absolutely. And last question, ma'am. You know, given that the CCP is a murderous regime, it is a regime that's actively harvesting the organs of enslaved people. Should good conscious Americans continue to do business and so that they can keep the slaves in China?
Right. So if you look at the Chinese government's record on human rights, it's actually worst in the world. I think most Americans don't know that because there's been so much public relations to the opposite. But Americans, for example, are aware that a lot of Middle Eastern nations have terrible human rights records. But China is just as bad. I think it's Amnesty International, Freedom House International. They rank them from 1 to 7, 7 being the worst. Well, China's a 7. China's a 7, and I think over the number 2 is considered really not free. So China's at a 7. It's as bad as, you know, Iraq and Iran, for example. So we absolutely, as Americans, should not be doing business with nations that are murdering and obstructing the human rights of other humans. So of course not. We need the CCP to exit stage left.
Amen. We have to save America first, then we'll free China second. But, you know, you're spot on because history is on our side. It was only years after the U.S. Enacted an embargo on the Soviet Union that the Berlin Wall fell and with it the Soviet regime. And I have zero doubt, given that we have had 5,000 years of Chinese history without the CCP, that we'll do just as fine without the communists.
That's right. And again, I want to encourage all the Chinese people. You have a long, strong, proud, beautiful culture, beautiful tradition. And one day you will shake off the CCP, God willing, with America's help.